Welcome to the second part of week 1 of Human Anatomy. Congratulations. You have posted a discussion for me. I read all the discussions and I commented on, I believe, everybody. If I missed you, I am very sorry. It was not intentional that I missed you. You have submitted your assignments for me, and I comment on some of those. I didn't comment on others of those. You have done your orientation quiz. And most importantly, you watched your first lecture and did your first lab. Now, this half of the week is going to be very similar to the first 2 days, except there's a lot less work. So I believe having the assessments on the first 2 days added to the work of an already packed class. So this has a little bit less work. So we are going to go to week 1 and the second half. You could do that by going to modules and scrolling down, or you can click week 1, language of anatomy in the cell. I'm going to go to modules because I like going there instead. And you're going to have to scroll down. So this you could collapse. I'm probably going to hide this. Here's my student contact hours. Here are all my how-to videos. Watch those if you have questions on things. Here are my study tips. You have a lab quiz in 7 days. So look at study tips for this. And lots of people have come up with study groups as well, or started to take them. So check that out. I really recommend doing study groups. Lastly, since you have that aforementioned lab quiz, here's a sample test. You could take it as many times as you like. Get used to taking a timed lab quiz. And I made this, I think you only have 12 minutes to do 20 questions. You have 16 or 17 on the actual quiz. You need to get used to answering fast, so that's why I did that. So here you did this first part, week 1, language of anatomy, Monday, Tuesday. We scroll down here, lecture 2 and lab 2, the cell, Wednesday and Thursday. So lecture 2 is actually very simple. It is 5 lectures. So if you scroll down, read this information. It starts with a review of the last lecture. This is a 10-minute review. And I do that because I do that in the face-to-face class. Let me know if you like these 10-minute reviews. I have them through, I think, the 6th or 7th lecture. Then my laptop was having issues. It got completely replaced. And by the way, our IT department's awesome. So I stopped making them. So let me know if you like this video. You don't have to watch it. I do this actually before the lecture began. So there's 5 parts of it: regions of the cell, cell membrane organelles, organelles and extensions, mitosis, and cancer. Pay attention to organelles. I like test questions. What would happen if we destroyed this organelle? Like nerve, it has no centrioles. What can't it do? So I like questions like that. Mitosis, you're going to have to put in order. Now in this one, the cancer, I mentioned a discussion that was supposed to be your follow-up. I felt like you had enough work this week, so I got rid of it. So don't worry, you can't find it. I hid it. So you have a little bit less work. So no follow-up. Lab 2. And there's some confusion about this. This is the page you go to, Lab 2, mitosis and instructions. So I have different related activities. So when you go to the lab, click on this. You come to this page, and it tells you everything you need to do. Now, what I did last year is I had the supporting files underneath. And it was suggested I have it sequential, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. And it then says what is file, upload, mitosis assignment, upload. Well, that is all in here. So for part 1, part 2, part 3, you are going to be doing things. And it says upload parts 1, 2, and 3 here. You look right here, upload histology drawings and lab book pages. Then for part 3, you are going to be, or part 4, you're going to be going to these web pages. You are going to just be taking a screenshot to prove that you did them. And I hope they're interactive. Then it says upload here. That's just the next upload. Then this mitosis assignment, that's that one right there. So everything you need is in here. I was actually tempted to hide these all from you, but I like seeing them below just so you know what there is. But if you read this instruction, it tells you what goes where. So what are we doing? We are doing 3 things. First, we're looking at the microscope. We're doing that in 2 parts. This one is getting used to using the microscope. You are going to this webpage. My new laptop is blocking Flash Player. Let me know if this is a problem. And I don't want you to spend very long on it. You're basically looking at the letter E and that it gets magnified, and you are going to look at a cheek cell. You're going to draw it on page 7 and 8 of the lab book. This all corresponds to 7 and 8 of the lab book. Again, I have detailed instructions right here. Watch that, please. Then we're going to look at the 4 tissue types. Watch my video on how to draw them. Then you're going to go to these web pages. This one, and this one are the same. This is a different web page. And the video is going to tell you how to navigate. One thing I noticed in this video, I meant to press play at one point. I didn't press play. There might be a 45-second gap. I am sorry about that. So I am not a fancy YouTuber. I can't go back and edit it. So go through it. You are going to draw it on 7 and 8. Then you are going to go to this web page. You are going to click on the cells. You're going to identify the organelles. And the way this works is like the other web page. You put the mouse over. It tells you what it is. Now you're going to, so see, this is 1, the mitochondria. You're going to go to your lab book. This is the same picture in your lab book. And in the lab book, you are going to write a 1 next to the mitochondria. What does that mean? You write a 1 right there next to the mitochondria. Yes, I used the same picture. I wasn't sneaky and I didn't flip it or anything. So when you get comfortable with this cell, I want you to go to the cell model. It's a completely different model. See if you could identify the structures on this model. So this one's going to be harder, and this is what the lab exam is going to be like. It's not going to be the same picture that you had before. So guess what they are? Then, to really challenge yourself, look at these. This is part of a different activity, but see, that looks like a mitochondria. That must be the mitochondria. See if you could identify organelles on these. These are horrible models for the organelles. I would not do that on the lab test, but it'd be a good test. Can you figure them out? So then you have to go to 3 different web pages. These 2 are 2 little interactive pages that take you through meiosis, or mitosis, I mean. Ignore that right there. You're uploading it down below. You're uploading there. And then you're going to this website for part 3, and you're going to figure out what phase of mitosis that's in. Now, if it shouldn't matter if you capitalize it or lowercase, what I suggest, copying it, Control-C, which one would be cytokinesis? I think the last one is cytokinesis. Control-V. And then you can check answers. Uh-oh, that was not cytokinesis. But I suggest cutting and pasting. That one's probably cytokinesis. Yeah, that one's cytokinesis. I messed up. Get my own game wrong. So see, it's now correct. So it'll do it, but it's very temperamental. It is really 1995 code. On the first lab, I joked, this is Netscape Enhanced. This is written for Netscape. So make sure you just copy and paste that. So you're going to do screen captures, and you're going to upload the screen captures there. Lastly, we have an assignment. Wow, it looks like a quiz. And what you're doing, you'll have this picture on all of them. You're going to count how many cells are in each phase. So you start it, it's going to tell you to count it, and it loads them all at once. What you do to count it is you just move through like this. We are looking for prophase. So I just make little tally marks. If I find a prophase, that looks like prophase, so I put a 1. What you do is you start this way, you move across, you move down, you move back, and so forth. I made it so that you can be off by a couple. So I think I did 2 above and 2 below the actual count, so you don't have to do it again. And I also think I'm giving you full credit no matter what if you get it right or wrong. Anyways, I want you to have the experience of counting mitosis like I have had. So lastly, this is going to be a short lab, I hope. We did a lot of work on Monday and Tuesday, and the lecture is a short lecture. For lecture, I usually start the next lecture, this tissue, because that is a long lecture. Or you can go and just study. Now, here's the study guide. I want to point this out to you. See how that's a broken image? You need to tell me these broken images exist, because I made these way back in May and June. Sometimes the image does not exist. So here's a study guide. You're going to have to tell the top parts of the cytoplasm, and then you're going to have to identify the tissue types. For this, if you scroll over it, it's supposed to tell you what the tissue is. I'm not sure why it's not working on Chrome. Then the cell models. If you go to these web pages, oopsie, I have a broken link I have to fix. It will take you to the web page that you just did this on to practice on. Now that web page right here, if you actually go to the main page on it, you click Model with Answers, Lab Quiz 1, these should all look familiar. So you could study the body regions by mousing over, and you should study the organelles. So your first lab quiz is in a week. Thank you. And I just checked the code. Apparently it's Chrome that isn't responding. So here's Firefox. I'm moving the mouse over, muscle tissue, epithelial tissue. So apparently Firefox, this works fine. It was just my Chrome browser. Oh, it's working now on Chrome too. So you put your mouse over it and it tells you what the tissue is. So that is our next 2 days. Email me with any questions, and thank you very much.